Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I am your host, Wayne Campbell, and with me, as always, is Garth. I always wanted to say that. Okay, I am actually your host, Phil Gramlich. And if you have listened before, I'm also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, a Disney-specialized travel agency. It is my job to take away the stress, the anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. Oh, and I always like to remind you that I do all of that for free, right? So from fast passes to dining reservations, booking your trip, to special event tickets, to golf tee times, to renting boats. You want to rent a boat? I can help you do that. I do all of that absolutely free of charge. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, no obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. Oh yeah, and you can also find me on Facebook Live each and every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch, you can tune in like I'm Batman. Same bat channel, same bat time. But chat with me every week on the Facebook Live thing. It's a lot of fun. It's been an interesting experience getting to meet a lot of cool people. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there on the next Facebook Live. Like I said, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, this is episode number 62 for the week of March 27th, 2017. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. So, whether this is your first time listening to this podcast or you're listening in for the 90-something time, because I've done 90-some shows at this point, you are most likely a Disney fan, right? And you've probably been a Disney fan since you were a kid. So going by that logic, and it's not that much of a stretch, you are probably still a kid at heart. Or you're a parent with young kids, and that's why you listen to the show. Either way, somewhere along the line, you probably have fallen in love with the Disney characters. I mean, I know that even before I had my own kids, I loved the characters. When I was a cast member in Walt Disney World, I would love to meet the characters. And now with my kids, I mean, we have character hunts on pretty much each and every trip that we take. We have autograph book after autograph book full of the signatures of princesses and Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Daisy and Pluto and Donald and you name it, we probably have it. So this week, that's why we wanted to talk about the top character meet and greet spots in Walt Disney World. My first guest this week wears a lot of hats. She's a full-time mom with a full-time job, a second full-time job in her husband's auto care business, a Disney annual pass holder, a Disney blogger, and much more. But most importantly, she's helping me put my kids through college by booking several Walt Disney World trips through me. Allie Miller, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Phil. I never promised Ivy League, though. We just talked about beauty school.
Yeah, I think we're going with beauty school. And so, okay, so we're talking about characters, right? I think this is the... Tell me that I'm not telling you the wrong... This is what we agreed on. The character meet and greets.
Character
okay,
one.
So we're going with best character, top character meet and greets. See, I didn't say parks. We just settled on best character meet and greets, right? So...
Yeah, mine are
good.
all over the place.
Yeah, good, because so are mine. So good.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure. And really, since I make the rules, who cares if it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty much your podcast, dude.
It is. Yeah, doesn't matter to me. All right. So anyway, Walt Disney World, as we know, is full of awesome, really amazing opportunities for, kids and adults. I mean, don't discount the adults meeting the characters, but for anyone to meet characters, right? They're all over, as you said, they're all over the parks, all over the resorts. I was just on a cruise line. I'm not going to, include those all over the cruise line, which is so cool. when you're on your day at sea and there's, you know, princesses and Tinkerbell and Mickey and Goofy and crazy. But I mean, in Walt Disney World, we're talking character meals, meet and greet with fast pass options, the regular meet and greets without the fast passes, random encounters in the park, the scheduled meet and greets of the princesses like in World Showcase. I mean, they're all over the darn place. So I think, well, I know I didn't have any trouble. I was just like, when I was coming up with my list, I was just kind of had to cross things off to not talk about them because I had so many good ones. I don't know if that was the same for you. But I mean, we do a lot of character meeting when we're in the parks.
I do too. Yeah, and I'm probably more into it than my kids are.
Yeah, I know. So are Amy and I. By the way, I have to just let the cat out of the bag right now. You and I expected to have a third party on this podcast right now in the recording.
But she bailed on us.
My lovely wife, Amy, yes. She is, are recording this at night for those listening at home or on the treadmill or in the car right now. Hello, thank you for listening, as always. But yeah, she is actually getting our children to sleep, and I'm hoping she will join us in the middle of this. I will try not to make fun of her too badly.
And you will fail miserably in that attempt.
And wait till she gives it back just as well, trust me. All right. So let's go with, you're the guest, right? And ladies first, and age before beauty. So, so let's get
the digs, man.
You know, I wasn't going to say that last one. I was like, why not?
It's okay. You can make me cry on your podcast. That's cool.
She's in Texas. What can she do to me right from there? All right. So you go ahead first with your first one.
So I've got a great list here, but I'm going to start with one that I think you might steal. And that is in the Magic Kingdom, in New Fantasyland, Gaston meets Guess up by his tower.
That was my ringer.
I knew it was.
That was my number one.
I knew it.
Now I have to start moving. Yeah, now I got to start moving stuff around on my list. All right, go ahead.
I'm telling you, he is so hardcore in character. You're never going to find anyone as in depth as Gaston. He just is a horrible human being. Yes. And, you know, he's rude. In fact, he really hurt my friend's feelings last time we were there because we were leaving. And she's like, hey, if it doesn't work out with Belle, call me. And he looks at her and goes, I think I'll pass. And we were both kind of like, and then he started scrambling like, well, maybe I went just a little far. Well, I mean, I think things are going to work out with Belle. And,
Did he really? He kind of backtracked?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
See, that kind of makes me a little bummed out. I wish he would have just stuck to his guns. Because
I think we both looked a little bit shocked because the way he said it was pretty mean.
Poor Gaston thought you guys were headed straight to guest services after that one. Listen, he's Gaston after all, but he still has to play by the rules a little bit. Yeah. Listen, my kids, we went to see him. I think that was in May. And we had never, because, you know, when you have little kids, there's no fast pass for Gaston, right? So
right,
you have to wait, and you usually have to wait before he's even out on stage. So when they were little, it wasn't like something we could do because you have to wait a while. But now they understand Gaston's coming. So when we met him last May, he was ruthless. Like to the kids, to the adults, to anybody who was there. He doesn't hold back even a little bit. Totally full of himself. Like you said, amazingly in character, mean, rude. And I love that he can be like that. Because I don't know if there's another character. There is, and I want to mention this other character later. But he just, he pulls it off so well. So well. Have you seen the YouTube videos of him with Gaston?
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple really famous ones. There's the one where the guest challenges him to the push-up contest.
Push-ups, yeah.
And he starts doing the one arms. I thought that one's awesome. He just starts going off with one arm push-ups and just dominating this poor guy. And then there's another one where the little girl, she's got to be 3, maybe 4.
With the changing dress?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh, you got to look up the one where she goes from the blue and white dress into the, she has a costume on that flips so that she's got the gold dress, and he was blown away.
That's cool. No, I haven't seen that one. The one I was going to say is the one with she's like a 3 or 4 year old little little girl, and she starts talking about how he'll never marry Belle, and she's screaming at him, and she's like, "You're never gonna marry Belle, the Beast. She loves the Beast." And he's like, all in characters, and he's saying, like, get out of here, go send this little girl to the kitchen and make me a sandwich. And it's great, and and her mom is like she's so little, and her mom's trying to pull her away, and the more he says, the angrier she gets, and it's the funniest video. You know what? I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes for this episode. Hopefully, I remember, because I say that all the time. And then I know people email me, they're like, "Yo, dude, you didn't put a link."
I'll remind you because I want to see that.
Yeah, like, what do I have to do? A Google search like an animal, like, so. What
are we living in 2005?
So yeah, but anyway, he's great. Gaston, I love that pick. Really quickly on that May trip, it couldn't have been May. It must have been last January. My daughter Alexa had a Belle, the gold Belle dress on, but it was cold, so she wore a hoodie over it in the park. Well, when it was time to meet him, she walks up to him and he's like. And I do a horrible Gaston, but I try to do the voice. But he's like, "Oh, I know who you really are under that Belle." And she's like, "No, I'm Alexa." And he's like, "You can't hide under that strange outfit, Belle. I can see that yellow dress a mile away." And it was great because she was like, "Oh my God, he really thinks I'm Belle. This is crazy." And it was just really cool. And he was trying to get her to kiss him, and she's like, "No." It was great. So yeah, that's a great pick.
That's so
even
cool.
though you stole my number one pick, and it's like the one I had the most notes on, as you can tell.
And that's my achievement unlock for the day.
Yeah.
I managed. I was like, I got to get that one out there first.
All right, so now I'm going to try to take one that I think you're going to have.
Okay.
This is like it's All's Fair in Love and War, and I am taking the Town Square Theater Talking Mickey Mouse. Did you have him on your list? Tell me you did.
I did have him on my list, but
yeah,
he's pretty low on my list.
See, I think that Mickey's phenomenal because it's when you first do it, it's really unexpected just how much he can say and how much he can communicate. It's ridiculous. When we were there a few weeks ago, he was speaking to these Japanese guests who were in front of us in line in Japanese.
Man, that's crazy.
In his Mickey Mouse voice, in Japanese, they were responding in Japanese, and I'm just blown away. I'm like, are you kidding me that he can speak Japanese? Awesome. So yeah, he was speaking Japanese. Then it was our turn to meet him. They do a phenomenal job. I love the queue. I love the room that he's in. It's like backstage with Mickey. You're supposedly backstage at his magic show, which I think is a really cool touch. I love the stuff in the queue too, like all little nods to the old Disney movies, Mickey movies and stuff. But when you actually get in there and meet him, like Alexa, she was going to try to stump him this last trip, right? She said, "Okay, I'm going to ask him a question, and there's no way he's answering it." So she asked him if he knew any magic tricks. I get it that he's Magician Mickey, but we thought that would be a tough one. He answered it perfectly. He's within seconds was like, "Well, I did start practicing a new one. It didn't." And he said something. He said, "Well, we found out the sprinklers work," and I was like, "That's awesome."
Nice.
Like what a cool. And he did a choo-choo train with my kids where it was like they did like a conga line around the room, and he tells jokes and he tells stories. And I remember one time we were there, and one of my kids asked, they were little, and said, "Where's Minnie?" And Mickey said, "Go to Pete's Silly Sideshow. You can meet Mickey. I'm sorry, you can meet Minnie." Crazy how it works. It's amazing technology. Such a fun experience. And I find if you take people who are a little bit older, it blows like kids. It's almost lost on kids, right? Because they're like, of course you can talk. It's Mickey Mouse. But when you go with someone like our age or older, it blows you away. Like 40, 50, 60-year-olds are just like, oh my God. How it's the craziest technology. So yeah, I love it. I love that. And one, I do have a tip for meeting him. Either go first thing at rope drop when the park opens, make that your first stop right inside the main entrance. Take a right, go right to Talking Mickey. Get a fast pass for later in the day, or go during Festival of Fantasy Parade, because the lines can get really long. They can get 40, 50, 60 minutes to meet him. And honestly, like I said, it's a cool queue, not cool enough to wait an hour. No, I don't think.
Yeah. No, for sure. Although it is inside, so in the heat of the summer, that's not so bad.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But when we went in September, we took Gibbs, and he was not quite 4. And he's way into Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And so they were doing the hot dog dance. And he was shaking his little self and, dancing, and Mickey was turning around, and they just had a good old time. And, of course, Photo Pass is there, snapping away.
Oh, yeah, that's the best, too.
So we got some adorable pictures.
And now that you have the annual pass with the Photo Pass, that's the best.
They're all included.
That's the best.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both have the annual pass, and I bring my camera to the parks with me every day. My good camera, because I like to get pictures of the food. I get pictures of random. You know how strange I am, Allie. I get pictures of attraction signs. I get pictures of hidden Mickeys. But I don't even break my camera out when we're meeting characters because you don't need to. The character or the photo pass photographer's right there, taking literally 30 pictures in a row. So it's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Well, and I figured it out with the number of times I will have, gone over the year that I had my annual pass. It cost me $60. If you assume that I was going to buy Memory Maker for each trip, my annual pass cost me $60.
Yeah, that's insane. What if you give it that way? Uh-oh, I have a knock at my door. Come in.
Who is it?
And here she is, all the way from the second floor in our house. Mrs. That's true.
She is married to you, dude.
My lovely wife, who cannot get her headphones in. The Princess Vespa to my Lone Star.
The Minnie to your Mickey.
That's much better.
Yes. Amy, welcome. Thank you for showing up.
My pleasure.
She was out running doing her last long run for a marathon training.
Yeah, that's
where she was. All right, Amy, so you didn't miss much. We've talked about Only Talking Mickey.
Oh, cool.
Was my first pick, and Allie's first pick was She Stole My Ringer in Gaston.
Oh, that's a good one. How you doing, Allie?
I'm great. How are you, Amy?
Good. Thanks so much for having me, by the way, Phil.
Thank you for having you.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's the ticket.
No, so, Amy, thanks for doing it again. And this is interesting because this is the first podcast Amy and I ever recorded in a little studio together. So we're kind of on top of one another.
We're very close.
It's a little romantic.
It's a little romantic.
Allie, I'm going to have to let you go for a while.
Yeah. So
No.
y'all have fun.
All right. So Ames,
yes.
We're not going to introduce you. Everybody knows who you are. You're my wife. You live in this house with me and our children.
This is true.
Typically how that works.
Yes. You're up for your first one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for, I hope it's a little random, but I'm going to go for Jake and the Neverland Pirates, because first of all, he's super easy to meet. I don't know if everybody knows about him, but in Hollywood Studios, sorry, my earbuds keep falling out. In Hollywood Studios, what's it called? The Animation Courtyard, right?
Yes.
So there's a bunch of the Disney Junior characters that meet there, and it's Sophia, Pluto, Jake. I think that might be it, and sometimes they change out. But, so it's really a short line almost all the time. And he just seems to be a really, really fun, interactive character. Every time we've met him, he really just takes a really long time with our kids. One time he danced with our oldest kid. Another time our son had a baby Anna, and Jake grabbed the baby Anna and was running down the park with it. And it was just super fun. And it's really cool because I don't think there are a whole lot of places to meet Jake. And I know the Disney Junior characters are really popular with the little kids. So I always think that's a really fun meet and greet.
Yeah, and like you're saying, there's literally no line.
No, there's never a line.
They have a little kind of tiny little queue out in front of Disney Junior live on stage, and yeah, the only other place I can think to meet Jake is in the Hollywood and Vine Disney Junior meal.
That's right.
Other than that, Allie, I don't know if you remember meeting him anywhere else, but I think that's it.
No, that's the place where we met him, was in the Animation Courtyard, and we were there at 4:00 on a Sunday. and we met Jake, Sophia, Pluto, and Doc McStuffins in about a half hour.
Was, Allie. I forgot Doc. Yes. Oh, yeah, it's true. You really can just bang them all out.
Yeah, because they're 5 feet away from each other. You just boop, 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 down the row.
You just run to each one.
Yeah, and when we were there the last time, it was great when he did. He took the doll from Jack.
That was great.
Sort of walking around like he wasn't in the line anymore. He was out in the courtyard, like running away from our kids with the doll. It was very cool.
Our kids still talk about it.
Jack was very concerned. I think he was worried that Jake was going to steal Anna forever, but he brought it back. So that was cool. That was a good one. And yeah, one that I did not expect actually, because it's not a really well-known or a big character. That's pretty good, Ames. Way to go.
Thank you. I tried to do a little off the beaten path.
All right, Al, you're up for your next one.
All right, well, I'm going to cheat a little bit.
Okay, you're cheating, which I'm not surprised with you being.
No, big fat cheater. That's
you
me.
being from Texas and all.
That's right.
The same state as the Cowboys. The cheaters.
Oh, Lord.
Let's not get into that.
I don't even like baseball.
That's football.
I know. I just said that to make your blood boil.
I knew she was joking.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to say blanket statement 1900 Park Fair.
Dude.
And I'll tell you why.
You're taking my other one.
Because in the morning for breakfast, you get Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter, who is my most favoriteest ever. And then Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Mary Poppins. So that's a supercalifragilistic breakfast. And they are all so great. Mary Poppins is fun. Alice and the Mad Hatter are fun. And who doesn't love Pooh and Tigger? But then for lunch and dinner, you get the royal family. So that's where you can see Cinderella and the prince, which he's not out in the regular park very often, but he's at 1900 Park Fair. And you get the stepsisters and the stepmother. And they are so fun and funny and just crazy. The stepmother gave me my favorite line of all time, which I use often when I go to meetings. I'm like, I am here. You are welcome.
That's great.
So,
top
notch.
Something about you using that line doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
But
that is actual fact.
And I also want to say, and I don't know if this is speaking of cheating, just because it's not about food, but I will say that I think the food at 1900 Park Fair, at least I've only done dinner, is amazing as well.
Really good.
And it's much easier to get into than Cinderella's Royal Table. So I think that's a really good call, Allie.
And a lot less
And I like
expensive.
the characters better. The food is better.
I do too.
Yeah.
They have gummy bears on the buffet. Like, what on earth could be wrong with that?
That's a good
Nothing.
point.
But the characters are better. You know, up at Cinderella's table, it's just princesses, which you could get at Akershus and Epcot. Like,
That's true.
The ones at 1900 Park Fair are just better.
I just think the whole experience is better, and I tell people that all the time. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast, but I love everything about 1900 Park Fair, including. Have you been there when they announce the characters and they come out of the back? It is the coolest thing.
Oh, it's so great.
And
It's
they
so
play a
exciting.
little song and like a trumpet, and they do the announcement. And then when we were there, one of the stepsisters was dancing with Alexa.
Oh,
and
yes.
Cinderella came up and said, "Let me show you how to really dance, or let me show you how it's done." And she cut in. And it was very cool. The stepmother, I love that she's that nice.
Oh,
Again,
she was hilarious.
And since you stole mine, I'm going to talk about it for a second. My top two were stolen. Now I have like two things left.
You're fine.
She was great. She kind of made fun of us and made not meanly, but like made fun of the kids. And
Yeah, because remember Jack had that Mickey, and she said, "Why would you bring that dirty rodent in here?" Or something.
Yeah, it's great. I love stuff like that. And I loved it. Like we were saying about Gaston, they can get away with that like that playful, almost mean kind of tone because they're villains. It was really cool.
Yep.
I love it. And yeah, like I said, I love the announcements. I love all that stuff. Food is good. The interaction is better than Cinderella's Royal Table. And it's way less expensive. Like, it's way more affordable than Cinderella's Royal Table. So,
And you don't need a park ticket.
that's
a
true.
really good point.
So, yes, Phil, that was a good pick. So now I'm stuck. So now I got to go. Now you guys are cheating. Now I'm going to completely cheat. Okay? Totally cheat.
I love how he lumped Amy in there when she didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. Thank you, Allie. Oh my gosh. Thank you for having my back.
Wait, she didn't cheat? You didn't cheat?
No, I didn't cheat.
No, she didn't
You
cheat.
said you were going to cheat.
But I didn't.
Oh, well.
I just started talking about the food, but that's not really cheating.
All women are cheaters. I'm glad.
We're getting super
I'm going to get out. I'm going to go sit in a corner of my own podcast and not talk anymore. All right, so this is why I'm cheating, because this isn't technically a character meet and greet, but to me, it's completely a character meet and greet.
You are going to steal one of mine, you dirty rat.
It's at Epcot.
Oh, no, you're not.
I was like, I'll give her a chance.
Great.
I was like, I'll give her a chance to get out of this. It's at Epcot in the formerly known as the Seas Pavilion, and it is Turtle Talk with Crush. Now, hear me out, because I know this isn't really a meet and greet; it's a show. But
it kind of is.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Your children get to meet and interact with, and some adults get to meet and interact with Crush. So you get to talk to them, you get to tell them jokes or ask them questions. And now with the new Finding Dory characters in there as well, that makes it even cooler with Dory and who's the big whale? What's the big whale's name? I forget.
Destiny.
Destiny, yes. Both of you guys. But yeah, I think that's a great one. And that's one that you don't ever need a fast pass for. Really, you don't need a fast pass for the Seas with Nemo either. So I tell people all the time, like, whose trips I'm planning, they're like, well, I want a fast pass this. I say, no, you don't. Don't get a fast pass for that.
No.
Just ride the Seas with Nemo and Friends, and then as soon as you get out, walk around, look at the wait time at Turtle Talk with Crush. If it's 10 minutes, go in. If it's 15 minutes, then stay outside until it says 10. Walk in. You'll wait a couple minutes. You go in and see the show. There's never a long line. It's always fun. It's interactive. It's always funny. So yeah, for me, Turtle Talk with Crush I'm counting it as a meet and greet. So there. I'm cheating, but there is talking with a character involved in this. So that's
It's also your podcast and your topic.
We talked about this before.
And most importantly, it leaves the door wide open for the one I thought was kind of out there. So I'm going to allow it.
All right.
Very
Good.
nice.
All right, Ames, you're up for your next one.
Okay. So, again, I thought the point, I guess, was to go off the beaten path. So I have another random one. But I think it's good. So I'm also going to be in Epcot with this. And, well, first of all, just in general, I highly recommend just walking around the World Showcase and seeing which characters are out at which times, because that is an amazing opportunity to, again, have shorter lines to meet princesses and some other characters that you don't necessarily get to meet.
You know there's an app for that, right?
There's an app for that. Yes, that's true. But either way, I just think it's
you don't
a
have
really
to leave
great
it to
place.
chance.
Oh, we always do. It makes it more
I know.
exciting.
We do as we say, not as we do. We always just kind of run into characters here and there.
But so I'm going to say specifically, we finally, after many years, got the opportunity to meet Mulan. And she was amazing. So this, I think, is the only place you can meet her. Is that true?
In Walt Disney World, yeah.
Right. So, and she was just unbelievable. So, Alexa, our oldest daughter, has really gotten into the idea that every time she meets a character, she's going to ask them a question. And so at first we were a little bit nervous because we were like, we don't want it to be too hard. We don't know, what you can ask and what the character will be, knowledgeable about. I'll tell you what, they are amazing. They have so much information. Even before Alexa asked her a question, Mulan started just rattling off something about her diet and what she eats, to be a warrior and to be strong. And then Alexa asked her something about Mushu, and she had a 5-minute long story about what he was up to and how, the shenanigans he got into. And all three of our kids, their jaws just dropped, and it just made it so amazing. And they felt like they really hung out with Mulan. And this was another one where it was a short line, but she took such a long time with us, and it was just really exciting. It's a really great place to go to meet her.
And you get to meet her in the Temple of Heaven, which is really cool to go in there and check it out.
Super exciting. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And their princesses are awesome with that thing, with the knowledge. Like, I don't know. Well, we know they're all princesses, right? So they have to have that knowledge. But we had one of our kids ask Tiana about a gumbo recipe in the Magic Kingdom, and she rattled off a gumbo recipe in like 30 seconds. It was crazy. So yeah, but Mulan was great, and the kids loved it, and she was awesome, really.
I'm glad they moved her inside because she used to greet out in that courtyard right off the promenade, and it was so hot.
Yeah, I know. I think it was like a weird, like it was like a respect thing with the real Temple of Heaven, because obviously this isn't the real one. I mean, not that I know of. I don't think they moved the real one to Epcot, and had Christina Aguilera have a music video. Do you guys remember the music video?
Yeah, of course.
For Reflection.
Of course.
That was all filmed at Epcot. She was singing inside the Temple of Heaven. The random strange fact that I know for some reason. But yeah, you're right. I think it was like a respect thing where they didn't want they wanted to keep it like sacred like the real one. But I bet Mulan finally complained, was like, dude, it's 95 out and I'm in a kimono.
I gotta get inside.
Get me inside somewhere, guys. Yeah, it is nice that she's inside now, because I think we've actually gotten that line to meet her outside, and the sun was baking down like the middle of summer.
Met her.
And we were like, no way. You're not going to wait. There's just too many. It's too hot in the summer to do stuff like that. All right, so Mulan, Ames, good pick. I'm not going to say great.
Oh, you almost said great.
I was going to say great, and then I was like, I expect more out of you.
Really?
No. No, you're giving me exactly what I thought you would. I don't know what that means. I was trying to make a joke, and that just sounded mean.
It did. It really sounded harsh.
Sorry, Allie. You're like, listen to us. Our marriage unraveled over here.
No. It sounds just like what I talked to my husband about, so we're good.
All right, wait. Who's up? Allie, are you up?
No, it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh,
It's
it
Allie.
is you.
Yes,
Oh, I've
Allie's
been waiting for this one, Allie.
All right, I'm going to do it. In the Magic Kingdom, Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Oh, no, that's totally a meet and greet.
That's not on my list either. That wasn't even on my list.
That's an awesome idea. Awesome.
I don't even know who you are, Phil. You
I
call
know.
yourself a Disney fan.
I know. It should have been, right?
I mean, everything about this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You walk in through her house, you sob at the portrait of her and her mother, then you go into the workshop, have a really cool effect experience, and then you go into the library and you get to tell Belle the story of when she fell in love, and the kids get to participate, and Belle is there, and they take pictures, and it's perfect. That is the perfect meet and greet, and everybody leaves happy.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think, too, it's so amazing to me how inclusive it is. I mean, every single child there is not only able to get a part if they want one, but also, for some kids who are too shy, afterwards, when they do the picture, even if you aren't in the show, they still say, come on up and take a picture of the Belle if you want to.
Yeah, and you also get to meet Lumiere after a fashion.
You're right.
And the Lumiere, if you haven't seen it, the Lumiere animatronic in there is one of the coolest animatronics on Disney property. And I still don't know how it works. I don't really want to know, because it would kind of ruin the magic for me, as Allie already ruined the magic of the door effect, of the mirror effect.
I just said
no, don't say it again. You're going to ruin it for people.
Oh,
No.
You mean on the other episode we
Yes.
did? Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah.
I did do that. I thought you meant today. I was like, I didn't say it today.
No, it was
She
last
was
time.
very careful.
Last time I did. Yeah,
Last
you're
time
right.
she ruined the magic for millions of children. No, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. I don't get millions of listeners. But no.
Tens of people heard me say that.
Come on. I get way more than tens. But yeah, no. Why do we say that? Yeah, no. That's weird.
I don't know.
I agreed and disagreed at the same time. But yes, I agree. That is a really, really, really cool meet and greet. And that's another one that I tell people all the time who are going to Magic Kingdom to either get fast passes to or make sure they see it. And they're like, I don't know, it's a meet and greet, right? You meet Belle, and I'm like, it's so much more than that. Like, you don't understand how cool it is. And just that effect, the mirror effect itself, if it's not ruined for you, is really cool. But no, you're right. The whole show is great. The Lumiere animatronic, the participation aims, as you were saying, that everybody gets to be a part of it. Even adults can be in it.
Tons of times.
Oh, I always get picked to be the wardrobe.
Oh, you
I have too.
Yeah.
Every time.
Because you guys are screaming. You scream in there, probably. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, seriously, every time our kids are there, Amy's yelling at them. She's like, Jack, do this. Jack, get picked for this. Zoe, do this. So that's why they're like, yeah, that lady's got a kind of a big mouth back there. We'll let her do the wardrobe. No,
well, I do have to say one thing about this meet and greet that's a little different. For people, just so that they know, informed consent and all that, is that she doesn't sign autographs.
Right.
True.
Okay, so, because I didn't want anybody to be disappointed, because that happened to me the first time I took my daughter, Annika. She was 12, and she hadn't been able to go before, for medical reasons mostly, and we had spent 3 days there, but we didn't go to Epcot. We did 2 days in Magic Kingdom and a day at Animal Kingdom. And so it was our last morning, and we were at Crystal Palace, and she was looking through her autograph book, and she had a princess one, and she had every single princess except for Belle. And she had seen Gaston, so the page said, loves Gaston, because she puts her signature on top, and then it says Belle loves Gaston. And she was, like, devastated that we were leaving, and she wasn't going to get Belle's autograph. So I pulled one of the character attendants aside and I said, look, it's our last day. This is the situation. Like, is there anything you can do? I was like, we don't need to meet her. We don't need to know anything about it. But if there's any way that, you can do some magic. And he goes, okay, meet me out front of the tavern in 20 minutes. So we said, okay. So he runs off with the book. We paid our bill. We walk over to Fantasyland and he meets us there and her book is signed.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
So, his name is Giovanni, and we're friends to this day because I went back a year later and I happened to see him working with Merida in the meet and greet. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, I remember from Crystal Palace, you wrote the email to the, he's like, I got your email.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
It was great.
See, that's why, another reason why, right, like people talk about the service and Disney cast members and what makes it different.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like a moment like that that makes all the difference. And that's, like you said, you remember his name. You remember him.
Of course.
We're Facebook friends now.
Yeah, right. You went out of your way to make sure. I'm sure that you filled out a guest service, the card, and told, that at guest services. And I did the same thing. We had, what was that for, Ames? Our last trip, we had a phenomenal cast member. And, we had, I put it on Facebook and on my Facebook page and on, I think I talked about it on the podcast, but Alexa and I were in It's Tough to Be a Bug at Animal Kingdom, and we came out, and in her stroller was a bear, a stuffed animal bear with a note that said, "I need a new person to love me. Will you be my person?" or something like that. Like, have a great day. Love, Custodial Mike. And I was like, this is amazing. And the really funny thing is, I was looking all over for this guy. I couldn't find him. He was like hiding off in the bushes to make sure we got it. And I went up to him and I said, thank you so much. And he was like, oh, no, no problem. And I went to guest services and I gave his name and I showed the picture and I showed the note. And, I hope people do that. Like, I hope regular guests listen to this episode and really do that, because there's so many cast members that need to be recognized. Yeah. And you don't realize that how much that helps in when it's time for a promotion or when it's time for that kind of thing, that they have those magical moments on record. It means a lot to Disney. So yeah, Allie, that's awesome that you did that, and that's a cool memory. So thank you for sharing, because that's the kind of thing. That's the reason why people go back year after year after year, and the reason why you have like you have your neighbor or your friend or your cousin saying, "Oh, you're going back to Disney again?" And you're like, "Yeah, because of this." Like, that's why. Yeah. So that's an awesome story. And I think everyone who's gone to Walt Disney World more than once has a story like that. I've heard so many like that since I started doing this podcast. It was very cool. All right. So Enchanted Tales with Belle, that is an awesome one. Ames, I see you looking at my computer screen trying to steal one of mine.
No, I want to make sure that I don't steal one. Oh, I was going to take that one. Okay, I'll do this.
All right. So we say, Al, you have one more, right? At least one more?
Oh, yeah.
So
I got one more.
Since we're hitting close to 40 minutes already, do you want to all do one more?
Sure.
So you want to save your big guns? All right. So I'll start it off with the one more. And I'm going to go with, at Epcot, the kind of all new Anna and Elsa meet and greet at Is it Royal Summer House? Is it Royal
Summer House.
Summer House?
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I
It's
don't know
H-U-S,
that.
right? It's S.
Well,
is
it's
it
spelled
S?
with an A,
Right.
but it's said Summer House.
Right, so it's Summer House. That's a really funny way to. That's really funny.
It's Norwegian
It's
because Norway,
yes, that's. I do.
home of the Norway doorway.
I don't even know what that means.
There's this little door in the side of the castle, and I cracked myself up calling it the Norway doorway. So
Wait, is
there.
this in like near Akershus there?
no, it's over by the Royal Summer House.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to send you the picture.
She just told you.
I didn't understand what she was saying. The Norway
send you the
doorway.
picture.
All right. Allie knows I'm a little thick-headed sometimes. I don't always get things on the first explanation. All right. So, okay. So you know what's really funny is I looked this up today in doing a little bit of research for this episode, and the way that Disney made this building looks exactly like a building in Bergen in Norway. And I found two things out by looking it up. One, that there's a place called Bergen in Norway. And two, that the bad guys in the movie Trolls, which isn't a Disney movie, are Bergens. And that movie, and there's trolls and are very like strong and popular in Norwegian like culture. And so I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know why that story went nowhere.
Well, Allie gasped at the Trolls connection, right, Allie?
Did you say
Yeah,
gasp?
I did.
Yeah, she gasped.
Yeah, I did because I love that connection, even though it's not a Disney movie. Like,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I thought
So
it was cool, too.
so anyway, it's a type of architecture in Bergen. Anyway, they designed that building after like an actual building in the town. It's amazing. It's looks exactly like it, which I think is really cool. And even have you been in there? Have you done the
Oh yeah,
So-
it's a solid choice.
It's a great.
It really is
The
amazing.
queue is so well done. It's like you're going to Anna and Elsa's summer home, which I think is very, very cool. It's air conditioned again, which is a plus. And when you get in to meet them, the interaction you get both on your own with the characters and the interaction that they have together in between you meeting them is awesome. Like Alexa gave them a softball of a question last time and asked what their favorite food was, and both of them answered together chocolate. And I was like, that is cool.
It was
Like,
amazing.
It's so cool
Really
to be able
cool.
and you meet them together, which I love because for a little while they stood on opposite sides of the room at Magic Kingdom. They didn't really interact. They really interact this time, like in between when you meet Elsa first or Anna first, and then you cross the room to meet the next one. In the middle, they talk to each other and tell each other about you,
Yeah,
which I
it
love.
really adds to the experience.
Yeah, because you're like meeting them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very cool. Anyway, yeah, everything in it, the queue, the experience, the outside the building, the whole area. I think I know, and I said this, I've said this on the podcast a million times, and Maelstrom fans, I think really strongly dislike me for it, but I'll say it again. I love what they've done with Norway. I love it. I love the Frozen Ever After attraction. I think it's super well done, especially for something that had to be repurposed, basically. I think they did an awesome job. The meet and greet's great. I love the way the area looks. I think it's awesome. The whole thing is awesome.
I agree. I think so, too.
Well, and I like that they have really, shall we say, perfected the process. Because you used to have to wait hours in Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
to see Anna and Elsa. And with the way they've designed this new place, it's rarely more than 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, too, how quick. I didn't think it would be that quick. You're totally right, Allie. That's a really good point.
Yeah, we had Fast Passes the last time for Frozen Ever After. We walked out. I remember saying that the exact same thing to Amy. I was like, listen, if it's 25 minutes or under, we're just waiting. We're going to see him. And we got out. It was the middle of the day, marathon week, so it wasn't a slow week. And it was a 20-minute wait. We walked in. We literally waited 20 minutes, and we had to meet them. And you're right. It was that when they were at Epcot before, I mean, you're talking 5-hour waits to meet them during, like, the heyday that, when Frozen was still in theaters, when you would meet them in a Stave Church. That was insane. I mean, parents will get to the park at 9 a.m., and their kids would go to do the park the whole day while they stood in line till 2, and then the kids finally came back and met them. That was crazy. So I am glad that Disney figured that out, and it's a much more pleasant experience now. I can't imagine.
I'm envisioning the line all the way around World Showcase and back to Mexico.
Have you seen that? Have you seen?
No, but I'm just like, that must be insane.
Yeah, so we were there when Frozen was in theaters, and we had no illusions of meeting Anna and Elsa on that trip, and we locked out. We were walking our kids past the Stave Church at the exact moment Anna and Elsa were coming back from break and walking into the church for the meet and greet. Allie, the line was it was down 3 pavilions.
Absolutely.
It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
It was just all along the walls, all along the pavilions. It went like 3 countries down, but we got lucky. They passed us. Alexa waved to them, and they smile and wave back and said hello, and it was just like meeting them for us because she was like 4 at the time. It was perfect. But yeah, those lines used to be nuts. And if you go to Frozen Ever After in the morning and you don't have a fast pass, you'll be down in China for that, during that line, or for that line. That line can get crazy in the morning. I tell people, and I'm sorry, I'm getting way off the beaten path here, but I tell people to get fast passes for. I'm sorry, not to get fast passes for that either really early on, or to get there as the park opens and run straight there and have fast passes for Soarin' later in the day. They're the only, because if you're going to try to wait in line an hour after that opens, you're going to be in trouble because you'll be waiting 90 minutes. It's a long wait. And this is for Frozen Ever After, I'm sorry. Not for Meeting the Princesses. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking way too much.
You're not talking too much at all, but it is not a meet and greet that you're discussing.
No. No, it is not.
Cheater.
What is...
Again, with the
whose
cheating.
turn is it? That was my last one.
No, it's Amy's.
So Amy aims her up,
Thank
and then
you,
Allie's gonna hit the home run to finish this off.
I hope hers is. I mean, mine isn't terribly impressive, but actually, I see it was on your list too. So this is just a really fun one, and I'm gonna hit Animal Kingdom because I don't know if any of us have hit it yet. And you don't necessarily think about all the meet and greets there, but this one is super super fun, which is Tarzan, who. First of all, is always pretty dreamy, I believe.
Yeah.
Which helps. But, and he wears like a very creative costume.
Your husband is in the room.
There are far too few loincloths happening.
I totally agree.
I think that's,
yes, so,
well, I was going to say it's one too many loincloths for my liking.
No, that's the opposite, I think, of what you meant.
But then it didn't sound right.
No, I don't think that's what you meant.
What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't mind a pair of cargo shorts and a t-shirt on Tarzan. I think he would get the point across.
I think most people who meet him would mind. No, but yeah, so he's fun for adults and children alike. But no, it's really, he's just really amazing. I mean, when we met him, wasn't he on his hands? He was.
Yeah,
right?
he walks out on all fours.
Yeah, he walks on his all fours, which is unbelievable. And of course, our son Jack was running away from him. He was just absolutely terrified of him. But it's so incredible. And he does talk to you, but he is very, what's the word? I don't know.
Like animalistic almost.
Yeah, animalistic is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, he definitely walks on his knuckles when he first, and then he'll get up and he'll walk around on you still there, Allie?
Yeah.
She's just drinking.
Oh, sorry, it was water.
I think so.
Was that water that you were drinking there?
Me?
Yes, you.
No.
Oh no, it was just
That
a
was
weird
weird.
noise.
That was a weird noise.
Didn't it sound like
We can edit this out, or maybe I'll leave it in. That was kind of funny.
You always say that. You always leave it in.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
he
true.
does.
You
How
know
high
what?
is her fever? 104? Okay.
Oh yeah, remember that episode?
Oh right.
That was you. Anyway, I just completely forgot to edit that one out. But yeah, he comes out on all fours, like walking on his knuckles, and then he'll stand up. And he doesn't do like the broken English thing. He talks pretty well.
he does.
But he's the way he kind of moves around.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Is
It's
very
so
much like a
graceful,
gorilla.
but it is.
It's really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he does a great job.
And he kind of lurched at Jack, and that just set him over the edge. He went into like
yeah, he was
a
Jack was done.
restaurant or something. But it's really incredible, and there's no one else obviously like that. And so it's fun because I didn't even realize that was where he was going to be. So I was just kind of walking through Animal Kingdom, and there he was. And I think that's so fun when that kind of thing happens. It reminds me, of like Disneyland. I just think they do a really good job with that one. And I've never seen a line for him either.
Now, there's never a lot. It may be 5 or 6 people deep.
Right.
That's it. But Allie hasn't been to Disneyland. I keep trying to get her to get
that's
out.
I
there.
haven't, but I'm gonna go. I will soon.
I keep telling her.
But the other thing about Tarzan, I went with some girlfriends a couple years ago, or about a year ago, and we got our pictures with Tarzan. And when we started looking at him, there were pictures of him like trying to pick bugs out of our hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way. That's
and that
great.
kind of stuff. Like, he's so in character. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
he's great.
He is great.
And again, if the women and the men who were into that kind of thing will love Tarzan.
That's for sure.
He's in fairly good shape, but of course he did just come out of the jungle. He's been climbing a lot of trees and fighting leopards and gorillas and stuff. But yeah, he's an in shape gentleman, that Tarzan. Not as in shape as I am, of course,
Never.
but he's pretty close.
Well, and I'm probably the only person on the planet who misses Tarzan rocks. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, no, I miss it. I miss it, too. I love that.
I love that show.
Yeah, that was
a
the
good show.
hottest theater on the
It was
planet.
so fun.
It was impossible to watch. a show in
Monkeys
there.
on roller skates.
Yeah, no.
Plus Phil Collins
The
equals
show-
who cares how hot it is.
Oh my God, I would melt in that theater. I remember they would have fans on, and those fans were just an insult to you. Like, they did not. They just blew. They blew
They rubbed
like,
it in.
They blew sweltering hot air into your face. That's all they did. It was terrible. The show was good. Do you remember what was? There's Allie. I am getting a Skype phone call from Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve right now because we are
Tell
running
him to calm the heck down. I got 5 more minutes.
So, but do you remember what was in that theater before Tarzan Rocks?
Oh no, that was my very first trip to Disney World ever, was 2004.
So, my lovely wife, do you remember what was in there?
I knew he was going to ask me, and I don't.
It was on our college program. You should remember.
Nope.
It was the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book.
Oh, no,
show.
I didn't ever see that.
No.
Was it good?
Not really. no. That's why it didn't last very long. All right, so Allie, you were up. We are finishing it up with you. You got to knock our socks off because I'm going to get another phone call in a moment
Okay.
from the man waiting to tape a podcast tonight as well.
Well, this is a sort of general one that leaves some room for everyone. And I'm just going to say, if you are looking for really cool, unique, harder to find character experiences, the hard ticket events or the Run Disney events are the way to go because they have characters you never see in the parks. And I have my own little character bucket list and I'm slowly checking them off. I got Jiminy Cricket.
Oh,
now
wow.
Mushu's up at the top. So
See, I've
Mushu
seen.
would
All
be
right,
awesome.
Mushu's a great one. I've seen him. See, I'm not one that will stop during races. I keep going. And now I'm starting to regret it because I've seen so many cool characters on the course and I haven't stopped. And now I'm like, man, I wish I had a picture of that character. Right? Let's quickly, if we can, Allie, give me some of your bucket list guys that you've seen or that you've met while on either the hard ticket events or the races.
7 Dwarfs.
Awesome.
I've met them. I want to meet the Queen of Hearts. That's on my list for the next time I go to the Halloween party. I want to meet Mushu. I got to meet Jiminy Cricket. And like my holy grail of characters now is Robin Hood because he's almost never out. Because I heard
That's awesome.
that he looks a little rough, but I don't care. I would be happy to meet Robin Hood.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like a 70s costume for Robin Hood. I doubt he's been upgraded at all. But yeah, I've seen Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear, Brer Fox, Sebastian, the Genie.
Yeah, I saw Sebastian too, a princess last year.
Yeah, that's very cool. Again, my arch nemesis, Jack Skellington and Sally. I have no interest in meeting them. No interest in meeting them, but I've seen them. I'm trying to think of some other good ones.
Darkwing Duck was out during Wine and Dine.
Oh, I saw that.
And Clarabelle Cow with Horace
Horsecollar. That's a very good one.
I got them.
Yeah, those are very cool. I haven't seen Horsecollar. I've seen Clarabelle Cow. They did the I don't know if they still do it, like the dance party in Animal Kingdom over near Dinoland. And I saw them over there. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know who I saw at Epcot last year? Honest John and Gideon, which were very cool. And I saw Phoebus and Judge Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. So that's
cool.
That was my accent that I tried.
On our honeymoon, I saw Prince John.
See, I think you've sent me that picture. That's a really good one.
I did send you that picture.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Prince John is cool. Yeah, so the character costumes are there. They have them. The characters are there. Let's not foul that up. The characters are there. I just have to, it's just very rare. I know last year around Easter, Roger Rabbit made an appearance at Disneyland. And that's one. That's like the ultimate.
I'd love to meet Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh, too.
I haven't seen Rabbit from Pooh.
I've heard stories that he's occasionally out at Easter, but that's about it.
Yeah, because since the Magic Kingdom stopped the Easter parade, that used to have all the rabbits in it, in that parade. So Roger Rabbit was in it. I'm sure Rabbit from Pooh was in it. They had the Easter Bunny and like a female Easter Bunny. I don't know what that was about. But they had tons. What's funny is I did a blog post last Easter on the top rabbits in Disney. I'll have to find that because I forget who my number one was, but there's some good ones. Disney's had some good rabbits over the years. All right, I'm about to go off on another segue. Amy left the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy has left the building. So nicely done. So I'm going to go out on a limb now and say thank you to Amy for donating some of her very precious time today on the podcast. I'll have to thank her in person later. Allie, thank you again for coming on. This was fun.
Anytime.
This is a really good episode. I think I could probably keep talking about this for like another hour because when we started talking about the rare characters, I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to go. There's a website and it's
Kenny the Pirate.
Kenny the Pirate does it, and Character Central does one as well. And they show you where all the characters will be, and it's very, very cool.
That's awesome.
So anyway, Allie, thank you again for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
You bet.
And we'll do another one soon. We have now that you and Amy have been on one together, we still have the Disney on Broadway episode to do. So we need
to do that.
We'll have to plan that one out in the near future because that'll be a cool one. And that'll be one where I can kind of sit back and let you guys talk about it, and I can kind of not do much because I don't know much about Disney on Broadway. And we will not be talking about Hamilton or Lin-Manuel.
That you think. But we'll just see what actually happens.
All right, Allie. Thank you again for being on. Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks again to both of my guests, the lovely Mrs. Allison, don't call me Allie Miller, and my lovely wife, Amy Liz. That's what I call her. I call her Ames, Amy Liz. But Ames, thank you again for being on the show. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, like I hope you enjoy each and every episode that I put out there. As always, if you did enjoy it, please just tell someone about it. You know who you could tell this week? Tell that person in your life that you know that says, why do you keep going to Disney World? It's only rides, right? You can ride roller coasters. You can do that kind of thing anywhere. Well, guess what? There are only a handful of places that you can meet the Disney characters, and Walt Disney World is one of them. So tell that person who is kind of an old grouch that they should listen to this episode to find out how cool the character meet and greets really are. And just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There podcast each and every Monday morning, as well as a new episode of the Ear to There podcast, Walt Disney World Word of the Week. That is a mouthful each and every Wednesday morning. So until next time, thank you again so much for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.